All right, guys, it's me. After, quite some time of being gone, I'm finally back, and here we are for another episode of this show. I'm going to do something a little bit different. I think I'm going to do these live things, which saves me some time and makes things a little bit easier instead of trying to upload videos and whatnot. Hopefully, I can get more stuff out that way. So, I've been gone for a while, been doing this, that, and the other as usual, pretty busy. One of the interesting things that's going on is I am in the midst of getting some dental work done. So, can't really tell a whole lot now, but check this out. This little thing is my tooth that I can play with, but it's a flipper. And it's because forever and ever and ever I've had a crown in here. Well, it finally, the tooth that it was attached to finally broke because that thing was just old, and they become brittle over time because there's, especially when you've had a root canal, the tooth is no longer getting nourishment and communication from your nervous system. So after a while, it gets brittle and, well, it'll break, and that which is holding on to it, well, has something to hold on to anymore. So it can't adhere. So now what they've got to do is a implant. And don't like implants, don't like surgery, try to stay away from all that stuff, drugs and surgery. However, this is going to be a necessary one. So, what I'm doing is going with a zirconia implant. So, zirconia, like cubic zirconia, it's a crystal. Much, much, much better for you. You want to abstain from metals in your body because if you put metals in your body, especially the mouth, it reacts with um, the chemistry, and you can get charges, electrical charges occurring in that area, and it could, in a sense, turn into an antenna. You just don't want to mess with the electrical currents in the body. It's very minute, but that little bit can do a lot, especially in this time of EMF, electromagnetic frequencies, and radiation and stuff running around. So, trying to abstain from all that. So that's why I'm going with the zirconia. And my dentist is Dr. Zena Aaron. She's at Rose Dental over in Tucker. She's really cool. She's IAOMT. It's a big acronym for, um, man, I should remember this stuff about my doctor, huh? International Academy of Oral Medicine and Toxicology. So essentially, she's a natural dentist. I actually inherited her from Dr. Dressler, the man himself who created this whole thing. And so all those dentists around the world are interested in doing things naturally, abstaining from mercury and all kinds of other things that are, well, bad for you. I guess you can call them an organic dentist. So that's the latest on what I'm doing. Hope I was able to entertain you with my tooth here. Now, yeah, I guess that's a little bit about metal. So, what Hobgoblin or Hubgoblin was asking, it spurred me to do this video, is what about zinc chelate? All right. So, that was the video that I did on the Garden of Life zinc. So, let's begin with the Garden of Life zinc. Garden of Life zinc is a natural form of zinc. It's a complete whole food extraction, which then keeps it in its natural form, increases the absorbability. I would say that's pretty close to a colloid, just pressed into a tablet. Now, we're already throwing out some strange words. Colloids, let's throw out chelates because he was asking about chelate. What are they? Well, if you look at the USP, United States Pharmacopoeial Convention, what they define it as is a chelate. That's a really long, complicated thing, but I'm going to simplify it. A chelate is simply taking an amino acid and sticking it on a metal. You're tagging something with the appropriate team jersey, so your body goes, "Oh, that's what that is. I know you. Come on in. Come on in." You know, versus just, let's just say, eating a handful of dirt expecting to absorb stuff. Yeah, you can absorb some stuff there, but you're not going to get it as efficiently as you would if it were tagged with the appropriate team jersey that your body recognizes and likes. It'll let it in. Now, we can take that and contrast it with what's called a colloid. A colloid is something that's been electrically charged. Now, our body is electrical. So, electricity and electricity tends to go together if, it's at the right gradients. We don't want tons of voltage or else that would be bad for us. So, when you're looking at a colloid, it's electrically charged and suspended in water or in a liquid. That's the chief difference that you can use to see the difference between your colloid and your chelates. Colloid is a liquid, a chelate is oftentimes a tablet. You can't have powder because a tablet has to become such by binders and smashing and all that. So it's dry versus colloid is wet. Now, an example of colloid is going to be, take it apple juice. Apple juice is golden brown. It's like that forever and ever and ever. Pour up a glass of apple juice, walk away. The stuff that makes it golden is going to be like that for a really long time. It'll probably take a year or so before it actually starts to separate. And that's because the things that are in there are electrically charged in order to stay suspended in the water column versus sand and water. You can mix up sand and water, put a bunch of sand and water, shake it up, shake, 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 put it on the counter, come back in 30 minutes or so, and it's going to be separated. And most of even the small dust particles and everything, it's all going to separate out. You're going to have water, you're going to have the sand. That's really a non-colloid. You can even say, I wouldn't call it quite chelate because chelates are absorbable. So that's taking me into the next thing. Why would you use a colloid versus a chelate? Well, USP says that the chelate is anywhere from 20 to 40% absorbable, whereas your colloid is 98% absorbable. So, on its face, you're going to want to go with absorption. Absorption is everything. Absorption is absolutely everything. Our problems are due to, one, not having the minerals that we need, two, not being able to absorb those minerals. Now, there's a lot of things that affect the absorption. One is not getting the minerals in a form that is necessary to absorb them. Two, the minerals just aren't even in the food. I'm talking about a lot of minerals, like the essential minerals. There's over 70 different minerals that are essential, meaning if you do not eat them, you will get sick. So you must have them. Just like amino acids that are essential. If you don't eat them, you'll get sick. You'll have problems. You'll die. It takes a long time. Don't worry, you're not going to keel over, but it takes a long time. And if you go without these amino acids for long periods of time or these minerals, problems will develop in your system because you're not functioning properly. Case in point, metabolic disorder, diabetes type 2. Type 2 diabetes, well, it's a breakdown in the system. You ran out of the stuff to run your machinery, specifically chromium and vanadium. There are amino acids that are in there. There are also other minerals that play a key role in the processing of sugar, such as magnesium and other people. But chromium and vanadium are the principles that are in there. And when you run out of that, your machinery doesn't work. So you start to develop diabetic type symptoms. Now, there are many, many, many other things out there that are also nutritional deficiency diseases. Now, the whole point of this is to talk about the chelates and the keloids. Keloids can be helped with iodine. There you go. There's another mineral. But we're here to talk about chelates and colloids. Okay. So when we're looking at absorption, a colloid is everything. A colloid is electrically charged, 98% absorption. A chelate is tagged with the appropriate team jersey, typically amino acid, so that it is better absorbed, anywhere from 20 to 40%. Now, I estimate with standard American GI integrity, meaning stomach system, your guts, how well your guts are functioning. I really think it is more like 15%. Why? Because there's all kind of garbage in our guts, all kinds of garbage that's interfering with the absorption of stuff. The vacuum nozzles, there's, I mean, not really, but you can call them vacuum nozzles, tons and tons of little vacuum nozzles that are in your stomach system. They go and they line the intestinal tract from the small to the large. And all your real absorption is going on in the small intestine. That's why sucker's 28 feet long. Now, the issue is that if you eat a lot of junk, processed foods, lots of flour and whatnot, it will just fall apart and just turn to junk, turn to gum. And it starts to stick to the mucus that lines the intestinal tract because you got to have that mucus in there because mucus does a lot of stuff. Mucus helps to ward off germs, it helps to slick things up. You do need a little bit of oil in your guts. So, what happens? It starts to stick to that. And over time, especially without water and whatnot, your guts get gummed up and it creates essentially like a concrete layer around the inside of your intestinal tract. So now, if you've got a layer of concrete, when you're supposed to have vacuum nozzles, you're plugging up your vacuum nozzles is very difficult to absorb. Now, what does get absorbed? Liquids. Pretty easy to get liquid, even through a lot of that concrete. You can get liquids through there. So again, there's another benefit to your colloid versus the chelate, because let's say the chelate, he's got the appropriate team jersey on. He should be able to get into the body, but that's only 20 to 40%. And remember, my estimate is even lower. I'm saying 50. But let's just say that you're operating at max, you can get 40%. Still 60 gets left behind. Now, if you're operating at 100%, that means that you have good enzymes and very good stomach acid, which your stomach acid is going to come out and soften up the mineral first. Let's say you take this chelated zinc. You eat that, boom, goes into your stomach. Now the stomach acid has to come out, it has to soften it up, has to tenderize it. Then it moves off into the intestinal tract. It's got to get mixed with some enzymes. Now the enzymes go after specific things. You have enzymes that are for protein. You have enzymes that are for fat, whatnot. So all that has to get worked up. Now all that gets worked, then the nutrient is liberated and able to get absorbed, provided you don't have that junk gumming up the works. So that's why your colloid is going to be much, much better for you to get absorbed. Chelates, they're great, they're out there. But if it were my choice, I would go with a colloid simply because, remember, USP says that your chelate is going to be absorbed anywhere between 20 and 40%. Your colloid is 98%. We want to go for the best absorption. Now, there are other things out there that are a little odd when it comes to this whole rule of colloids versus the chelates. You have things called orotates. Orotates are specific, an orotate is a specific type of carrier. The orotate was discovered by Dr. Hans Napier way back in the day. I guess not that far ago, 1946. But what it does, it ensures that whatever it is attached to the orotate goes into your system. And the place I really like using orotates would be on somebody like calcium. And whatever you do, please do not take calcium without it being in the form of an orotate, or I guess in the form of a stew or something. You boiled up some bones and have it as a part of the meal. So you're not just supplementing with just straight calcium. Calcium causes a lot of problems, very dangerous thing to take, unless, my recommendation, others would say, well, the glycinate is fine, and that's a chelate. What you're doing is tagging it with a glycinate, which the body goes, that looks pretty good. I like that sugar. Come on in. It goes right into the bloodstream, goes right through that mucosa very easily. So Some people like glycinates, but I tend to stay away from them. I like the orotate. The orotate is the most efficient means of getting stuff into the system if you're going to go with something that is in the form of a chelate. So we can have zinc orotate. Actually, zinc orotate. It's not Drucker Labs. It's Dr. Napier. His name is on it. You can find it on Amazon. A zinc orotate. You can also get calcium orotate. And I get all my stuff from Global Healing Center, and they sell it all. They sell the zinc orotate, they sell the calcium orotate. The calcium orotate actually has calcium and magnesium. Because here's the trick. This is why I don't like messing with calcium. Calcium is a big, humongous, fat element. You just don't want to mess with it. It takes a lot of work to get calcium into a cell. You got to have copper, you got to have vitamin A, you're going to need magnesium, you're going to need vitamin D, you're going to need some zinc, you're going to need some of this, you get some of that. You're going to need somebody pushing on this side, somebody pulling on this side, somebody squirting oil on the door frame. It's too much work to get calcium into your cell. If it does not get absorbed, it can lead to an array of problems. It can actually drive up your blood pressure, when it's actually supposed to be reducing your blood pressure, because calcium deficiency causes high blood pressure, causes heartburn, and many, many, many other things. So that's why your orotate is far superior to any other form. And actually, what's superior to that is, well, just eating well, making sure that all of your stews and soups have a bone broth stock, where you just take a bunch of bones and boil them up. And then from there, season it and add all your other stuff. That's old school. You got to make your stock first and your broth, but that's the way to go if you want to nourish your body. So that's a way of creating colloidal calcium. But if you don't want to do that, the next best thing is going to be to get the calcium orotate. That is a type of chelation. The calcium orotate, which has the magnesium in there, and also your zinc orotate. Now, there are colloids out there. They're derived from plants. There are colloids out there that are derived from rocks. Your ionic minerals, things of that nature. I like plant-derived minerals. Why? Well, you can't eat rocks. And that's a simple way of saying it. But what happens when you take rocks, you process them, you hit them with a little electricity, now they're suspended in a water column. That's nice, but it's not the same as a plant actually doing the work. And when a plant does the work, there's much more wisdom imparted into how those minerals are hit with the electricity and suspended in solution, versus man just hitting it with a bunch of electricity and causing it to be suspended in solution. So there's a lot more that goes on a teeny tiny level with that nutrient than I believe what is happening in a laboratory. So I like plant-derived minerals. Plant-derived minerals are coming from ancient shales. Really not shale, but what happens is prehistoric plants get smashed down in the mud. There's a ton of these places where people can dig this up. Companies go and they dig up all these old plants, and then they, process them and extract all their nutrients. Basically, put it in a ginormous slow juicer. Now, slow juicing versus your fast juicers, that's another place where we're getting colloids versus chelates. If you take it slow, you're going to get your colloid. If you do it too fast, you leave all the goods behind and you just have a bunch of junk suspended in solution for a moment of time. So that's another place where the colloid comes up, and it's very important to make sure that your juicer is a slow juicer to guarantee that you are getting a colloidal juice and not just some junk that's going to separate, because then, well, you got some fiber and some nice color, and yeah, you got some bioflavonoids and all that good stuff, but you want the rest. You want the nutrients that are coming out of there. There's a little bit that you can get. So that's a bit on, or maybe a lot. What's the time here? 'Cause, I'll babble on for a while. Oh, hey, 20 minutes. Okay, I better start cutting this thing short. Hey, there's some people. Hey, people. I thought I'd do this to make things easy, but hey, people are coming to it. Very cool. Well, thanks for watching. Um, so now that we've covered our colloidal minerals, we've covered our chelated minerals. Um, hey, that's really cool. Hey, I've never done this before. I'm so entertained. I'm like interacting with people. um, so we've covered those minerals. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to cover. We covered the chelates, the colloids, the benefits of your colloid versus your chelate. The chelate's the only thing that you can get. Make sure that you can get it in the form of an orotate. If you cannot, then a glycinate is always great. Just a copper glycinate, zinc glycinate, magnesium glycinate. Those are out there. Calcium, I absolutely urge you to do your calcium in the form of an orotate, no ifs, ands, or buts. And of course, the best is going to be a bone broth. Um, Trying to make sure I covered all my bases. I think I did. Unless you guys want to hear about anything, I'll be signing off. Is there anything that I missed? Hey, thank you. Dev Woo. Is there anything that I missed there, Dev Woo? I guess I better get this out of the way. Oh, it just took my screen away. That's not good. There we go. Now I'm back. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Well, what is this? There we go. It's telling me I have important security message. All right. Well, that is all for me. And as always, eat responsibly. Food is dangerous. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Thanks for tuning in.